The Secret Service can no longer afford to pay hundreds of agents it needs to carry out an expanded protective mission, in large part due to the sheer size of President Trump's family and efforts necessary to secure their multiple residences up and down the East Coast. Secret Service Director Randolph Texalis, in an interview with USA Today, said more than 1,000 agents have already hit the federally mandated caps for salary and overtime allowances that were meant to last the entire year. The agency has faced a crushing workload since the height of the contentious election season, and it has not relented in the first 7 months of the administration. Agents must protect Trump, who has traveled almost every weekend to his properties in Florida, New Jersey and Virginia, and his adult children whose business trips and vacations have taken them across the country and overseas. The president has a large family, and our responsibility is required in law, Allah said. I can't change that. I have no flexibility. Allah said the service is grappling with an unprecedented number of White House protectees. Under Trump, 42 people have protection, a number that includes 18 members of his family. That's up from 31 during the Obama administration. Overwork and constant travel has also been driving a recent exodus from the Secret Service ranks, yet without congressional intervention to provide additional funding, Alice will not even be able to pay agents for the work they have already done. The compensation crunch is so serious that the director has begun discussions with key lawmakers to raise the combined salary and overtime cap for agents, from $160,000 per year to $187,000 for at least the duration of Trump's first term. But even if such a proposal was approved, about 130 veteran agents would not be fully compensated for hundreds of hours already amassed, according to the agency. I don't see this changing in the near term, Allah said. Both Republican and Democratic lawmakers expressed deep concern for the continuing stress on an agency, first thrust into turmoil 5 years ago with disclosures about sexual misconduct by agents in Colombia and subsequent White House security breaches. A special investigative panel formed after a particularly egregious 2014 White House breach also found that agents and uniform officers worked an unsustainable number of hours, which also contributed to troubling attrition rates. While about 800 agents and uniformed officers were hired during the past year as part of an ongoing recruiting blitz to bolster the ranks, attrition limited the agency's net staffing gain to 300, according to agency records. And last year, Congress had to approve a one-time fix to ensure that 1,400 agents would be compensated for thousands of hours of overtime earned above compensation limits. Last year's compensation shortfall was first disclosed by USA Today. It is clear that the Secret Service's demands will continue to be higher than ever throughout the Trump administration, said Jennifer Warner, a spokesperson for Maryland Rep. Elijah Cummings. Cummings, the ranking Democrat on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee who was the first lawmaker to sound the alarm after last year's disclosure that hundreds of agents had maxed out on pay, recently spoke with Alice and pledged support for a more permanent fix. Warner said, "We cannot expect the Secret Service to be able to recruit and keep the best of the best if they are not being paid for these increases in overtime hours." South Carolina Representative Trey Gowdy, the Republican chairman of the House Oversight Panel, is working with other committees of jurisdiction to explore ways in which we can best support the Secret Service, his spokesperson Amanda Gonzalez said. Talks also are underway in the Senate, where the Secret Service has briefed members of the Homeland Security Committee, which directly oversees the agency's operations. Ensuring the men and women who put their lives on the line protecting the president, his family and others every day are getting paid fairly for their work is a priority, said Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill, the panel's top Democrat. "I'm committed to working with my colleagues on both sides to get this done." Without some legislative relief, though, at least 1,100 agents, for now, would not be eligible for overtime even as one of the agency's largest protective assignments looms next month. Nearly 150 foreign heads of state are expected to converge on New York City for the United Nations General Assembly. Because of the sheer number of high-level dignitaries, the United Nations gathering is traditionally designated by the U.S., as a national special security event and requires a massive deployment of security resources managed by the Secret Service. That will be even trickier this year. Normally, we are not this tapped out, said Ales, whom Trump appointed to